This is the Indonesia Channel.
Hello and welcome to Hot Indonesia, your 24-hour drive-in of information. I'm Dalton Tanonak in Jakarta. Here is this week's HI Hot List. Cool cut. Why there were no protests over rising gas prices. Living wage is Jakarta's minimum pay hike enough. And mobile martinis, the newest way to survive in Jakarta traffic. Here beside me, like a lucky penny, is Rahayu Saraswati.
Am I your lucky penny?
First-year parliament member, actress, and believer in salt and light. What does that mean?
It's in the Bible.
Oh, okay,
I'll
okay.
explain
I got it, thank you. And next to her is Yeni Wahid, director of the Wahid Institute, daughter of the 4th president of Indonesia, and Bruno Mars fan.
And I'm your jinx. If
Just
you're
learned
sister, lucky penny.
Unlucky penny. Hot topic. No, you're not. Hot topic number 1, cool cut. He was just back from 3 global summits when he made a not unexpected announcement on November 17th that the price of subsidized fuel was going up by 2,000 rupiah a liter to 8,500 or 69 cents. This was to allocate the savings to other sectors of the economy, such as healthcare. But unlike in previous years, there was no tire burning in the streets or the marching on Parliament, just long lines at the pump to beat the midnight price hike. What happened? Did I miss something? Did I sleep through the whole thing? I mean, why wasn't there any public outroar this time?
There will be.
Huh?
There will be.
I think the people are gearing up.
Took them by surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, the nature of the announcement.
But he'd been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, but the actual announcement itself. I mean, it's there's no sign of it that was going to happen. I mean, there were all these talks about the price fuel is going to be. The subsidy is going to be cut and all that, but then
when it was going to happen,
it didn't happen. When people expect that it was going to happen at the start of the month, but it didn't happen, and
then all of a sudden
people thought that it's not going to happen, and then.
I mean, is it still because we're in the Jokowi honeymoon period, or because he just
it's
was
also
back
because of that,
from the successful global summits? They were basking in all this.
I think a lot of people were hoping that he would keep his promise during the campaign that he would not raise the fuel prices, and yet
he
did.
That?
Oh yeah, he did.
I thought he said
you
would.
can Google it actually. No, you can Google it. He actually did make a promise, especially to the ojek drivers, one time on the road, that he would not.
Maybe in the beginning he said he wasn't. In the end, he was hinting that he was going to do it.
He was going to.
No, at the end. But during the campaign, one of the ways that he would, get it was after he was elected that he actually started talking with the vice president Yusuf Kalla that he would raise the prices. But during the campaigns, you can actually Google it. There are articles that said he was promising not to raise oil prices. So a lot of people were still holding on to that promise.
Okay, but just about everyone.
Interesting bit, talking about drivers. I ask, my driver is also another parameter for me if I wanted to test people's reactions because
I like that. She actually gets her driver's opinion.
Or taxi cab drivers.
Taxi cab drivers, budget drivers.
What did he say?
So my driver is actually voted for your uncle. Mm-hmm. So he's like, in my opinion, he's quite objective in a way in looking at the situation. And he said that one of the reasons why there's no protest is that because people trust Jokowi. But people are giving him the benefit of the doubt that he will do something. That with the money that is going, the money will be diverted.
Okay, well, just about everyone except low-income motorists agree that this was the right thing to do because fuel subsidies eat so much out of the national budget. It costs more than annual infrastructure spending. I mean, that's how much they spend, 15% of the budget, $22.7 billion. But still, the lower-income people will feel the pain.
Oh yeah,
and that's why you guys say that there will be protests to come. It's over.
Here's the thing: there are certain reasons why. For example, my faction, we are against the rise in the fuel prices. The reasons for that is, for example, the reason why my uncle actually was very clear. Our faction was very clear that we would raise the prices, but in 2024. And the reason for that is because
2024.
Yes, it's very specific. It's because
have the budget to sustain that kind of spending.
That's 9 years later.
30%.
Yeah, no, but because we need to prepare, and here's what we're missing is the preparation. And I think the reason why there will be protests even more and more coming up in the next few days or weeks is because there was no preparation. This came, even though he personally, President Joko Widodo was very, forthcoming in saying that he will raise the oil prices, the fuel prices after he was elected. But the preparation that we need is, for example, we don't have enough refineries. That's number one. So
it will take years to build refineries.
Yeah. So we need 3 refineries.
And the price of oil is down.
And then we need good governance to make sure that everything is, it's not going to be the same with the wrong system and the wrong people in it. And then the timing at this moment. Oil prices around the world has gone down.
Right.
The crude oil has gone down 30%, and yet we're raising our own oil prices by 30%.
Yes, so it's offsetting.
So the law actually states that in order to actually raise or lower, the fuel prices, you need to take into account the crude oil price around the world and the currency.
Okay.
And at the moment, that doesn't actually balance out enough. Not enough to raise the prices by 30%.
Okay, now you both say that there are going to be protests, but protests are done to prevent something from happening. It's done. They're not going to repeal this.
And what happened during SBO's time, for example. And one of the reasons for that, in my opinion, is because of the success of the campaign of the awareness. People are more aware that by putting more money into subsidy is like burning fuel, burning money. It's that kind of campaign, that kind of awareness amongst people, among even uneducated people, are quite successful. Have been very successful.
And I think the argument that you have to have some short-term pain for the long-term gain. I mean, inflation will rise.
No, absolutely.
We're already seeing that. But this is about economic reform. This is a long-term thing. You can't wait for conditions. You have to take a bold move. And I think people are applauding. And I think, Yenny, you're right that people maybe trust him this time. And if it doesn't work out, then they'll scream.
Yes.
But the protests about this actual subsidy, there's no need for it. It's done.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, we do have to think about the majority of the people, and the majority of the people do not live in cities like Jakarta, where it's easy to get
cash transfer.
And then
they get more cash transfer.
Yeah, they got some money paid out.
Supposed to, and that's what I mean. We need to figure out how to make sure that there's no more corruption and there's good governance. Unfortunately, that's not in place yet.
Okay.
And that's one of the biggest regestions why we are saying.
But if you keep waiting for that, it may not never happen.
No, but that's the thing, though. I mean, we need to think about the reason why is he doing it now. I'm sorry, but a lot of people are also questioning why is there no tougher laws on the oil mobs,
Okay.
the huge...
We're getting off the point. The point was why there were no protests, and maybe Yenny said it best, because people are giving him the benefit of the doubt right now.
And I think I want to raise the point that the raise in fuel prices has been done in the past by our previous presidents. So it's not like, oh, great, this is the end of the world. It's not like 98, Right now, people are looking at this as, oh, it's just one of the reasons it's one of the things that needs to be done.
Okay.
However, what can be done differently from before that will make sure that people will not suffer from this?
Okay, but my point, last year there was protests, this year there were none. It's a different time. Hot Indo will continue shortly. Is 12.5% enough of a minimum wage hike?
Hello, I'm Ahok, Governor of Jakarta. Congratulations on the launching of the Indonesia channel. I hope success for all of us.
The Indonesia Channel is the country's first 24-hour English TV channel. And it's cool, offering a stylish mix of entertainment and news programs created for viewers around the world. You'll see the latest fashion trends in the world's 4th most populous country, play executive golf with host Lorraine Hahn, plus movies, dramas, and travel, all on the Indonesia Channel for the world to see.
Indo Cinema on the Indonesia Channel. best of Bali, only on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia with Yenny, Sarah, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, living wage. The new governor of Jakarta says he will give minimum wage workers a 12.5% raise to 2.7 million rupiah a month, or $221. After recent meetings with workers and employers, all agreed an increase was warranted. Workers wanted 3.5 million. Bosses asked for slightly less than the final number. Not final yet, supposed to take effect January 1 if it goes through. You know, minimum wage here, for those who don't know, is given to those with no work experience at all. Most people don't make that. It's an entry-level thing. But is 2.7 million, with the increase, livable in this country?
No. No,
So how
it's
do people?
very, very minimum.
Yeah.
It's very, I mean, to survive in Jakarta, you need more than that. I mean, it's, God, I mean, my weekly spending is exceeding that, you know, even just for a normal, you know, normal spending, you
Yeah.
know, just for a regular household.
So how do people do it?
They take 2-3 jobs, you know, just to make ends meet, and you know, all the father, mother, you know, everybody worked, even kids, sometimes kids also, you know, everybody tried to chip in.
What categories fit under this minimum wage? Are we talking about household workers, drivers, domestic? I mean,
Not domestic, not domestic.
Not domestic workers. Unfortunately, not yet. But I think because that's a different
they get less.
circumstance.
They're not covered by
Because
this minimum wage.
because usually their meal and their board is already covered
I see.
by
That's
by
included.
the
It's
household.
in the
That's
employer's
included.
mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But when we're talking about minimum wage in Jakarta, we cannot take a look at this as the Indonesian minimum wage, because it's very different in Jakarta as it is in the countryside. Very, very different.
So 2.7 is maybe livable in Solo or in Makassar.
Oh, it's very much
Yeah.
livable
But
there.
it's extremely low in Papua, for example. I mean, you cannot live on that at all.
Yeah,
just
I
for
mean,
one
the
week.
fuel prices is even higher there.
Well, that's one of the problems.
One sack of cement, for example, is it's a million. It's a million rupiah. It's
One what?
one sack of cement. You know, building materials are extremely high because you have to fly them over sometimes, you know. So
Okay, but
it's,
the average low-income entry-level worker, we're not going to buy a bag of cement. Is
no, but it's just, you know, it's a reflection of
The
the
cost.
the cost, yeah.
Okay.
And I think, you know, those who are, you know, basically asking for the minimum wage to be raised, you know, they're actually living in, you know, in the urban poor communities. And this is just going to, you know, all of us are complaining, oh, the urban poor is just, you know, getting larger and larger. But that's the situation with the fact that, again, you know, it doesn't help with the fuel prices going up when the mass transportation is not prepared yet. And I know it's supposed to go there, but, you know, it's supposed to be done simultaneously. And I think that, you know, the people who are getting the minimum wage will probably be protesting a bit more, especially after the fuel price has gone up.
Well, of course, employers want to keep labor costs down to keep competitive. Workers want to be able to live in a world that's hit by inflation and rising prices.
Yes.
The ideal would be companies to provide pay incentives when times are good. If they have to pay minimum wage, but if there's a good time, then you give them bonuses.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Absolutely. But at this time, you know, I mean, when can you say, you know,
When is a good time?
When is a
What's
good
bad
time?
Well, that's the
Right?
employer. You have to have a good employer. Okay, and by comparison, just to give people a comparison, the minimum wage in the U.S., I know you can't compare it.
No,
is
you cannot.
well, but let me finish. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Comes out to about 15 million rupiah a month.
Yeah.
You can compare, but most states have even higher minimums than that. They set their own. Some are as high as $10 an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think the cost of living is that much higher in the U.S. than it is here for that kind of differential. I mean, I'm trying to figure this out, but my point is, we do need to raise it a little bit more.
2.7 million, I think it's about like $7 a day here in Indonesia. So it's, I mean, over there it's an hour. Obviously, you cannot compare. However, Jakarta, being the metropolitan city that it is now, you do need to get closer to how much living would cost, because, you know, you're talking about apartments, you know, all of these people are coming in here from the countryside because there's not enough work there. And yet coming in here, it doesn't mean that there's any work here anyway, because we're overpopulated by people coming in to look for jobs, and therefore it's not adding up. You know, it might look like, oh, it's enough to just work part-time and all that, but we don't even have a law that, you know, that regulates.
Well, most people are making more
work.
than minimum wage anyway, the people with skills. So we're not talking about the majority of people, just those seeking jobs for the first time. So I don't know how, I don't know the numbers.
No, not
Vietnam,
really.
for example, the minimum wage there, I mean, I read in the paper this morning, it's about 1.5 million. So, I mean, the living standard.
And that's
is
why
probably not
production is going there and places like that, and they're moving their production industrial bases from here because our labor prices are going up.
Yeah. But what's the fine line, you know, between a bare minimum wages and, you know, that covers adequate enough living standards here, and also a minimum wage that can satisfy companies, so not to.
There's always the
relocate to
balance, and for us
relocate.
to remain economically competitive, we have to, find that balance. And it's
Well,
getting
maybe,
close. I'm not being
maybe
able
the
to.
government can give more by providing incentives, you know, like in tax incentives and cutting down on all the red tapes and you know, infrastructures. Of course, a major
The thing
concern
is-
is always.
And help
So
them
I
with their
think
health care,
companies-
like
yes.
the savings from the fuel subsidies.
Yes, I
Then
think
they don't have to pay
companies
for much.
companies have been saying that they're more than happy to provide more wages for the workers, providing
If they
that
get
the
breaks.
other costs, the
Yeah.
other components of cost in the
That makes sense.
products.
You know,
will be
again,
cut.
everybody needs to be a part of this. It cannot just be between the private sectors and their
You're right.
employees.
Government can
The
play a
government
role.
needs to play a role. I mean, the government is politics.
And
is
you
about,
are government.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm actually
It's the
here in
watchdog.
Indonesia is the watchdog.
Okay.
DPR is the watchdog.
You're a
It's not
public
actually
servant.
government.
Okay, I got it.
The government is actually the bupati, the governors, and
But
all
you can
that.
help push.
Yes, it's about pushing and making sure that, hey, where's the money going to?
All right, more Hot Indo is coming up. Taking the party on the road.
iPod playlist is superb.
Bali, it's the experience of a lifetime.
For these sisters, fashion design has been a lifelong passion.
It's a hot time on Indonesia's 24-hour English TV channel. We inform and entertain. Promise.
We have total, I think, 136 courses in Indonesia, and just around Jakarta area is like about 28.
I am Ong Pingan in Phnom Penh.
And I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta.
For me personally, apart from Bali, I love Belitung Island.
Oh, Belitung Island is so beautiful.
I'm one of those, I grew up with Disney, okay? And when you grow up with Disney princesses, you kind of already get...
Is this what I'm getting into for my kids?
Yeah, your kids.
No.
Indonesia's first 24-hour English TV channel is here, with an exciting mix of programming to inform and entertain viewers around the world. The Indonesia channel offers something for everyone, from world-class lifestyle shows like Yoga Bliss to the hottest music hits and artists on iPop. News and information are an important part of the Indonesia channel, with Today's Indonesia and ASEAN Today providing what you need to know. International hosts such as Lorraine Hahn, Jamie Aditya, Caitlin Turner, and Dalton Tanonaka are among the faces you'll see. Movies, dramas, travel, and more are all on the Indonesia channel for the world to see.
You are watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, mobile martinis. It's a couple more years before mass transit starts rolling, and construction means even worse traffic in Jakarta before it gets better. The latest form of travel helps ease the pain, the party bus, complete with karaoke, wet bar, and toilet. You know, it costs less than $100 an hour, or about a million rupiah. 2-hour minimum in the day, 6-hour minimum at night. In Vegas, they use stretch limos, right? But here, they can't fit, they can't even turn around. So it's a bus,
But they do have buses actually abroad. I mean, I remember.
Okay,
You know.
okay, but here it's a first because it's equipped to have a mobile party. Would you want to do that?
So $1 million for the drinks and everything? Or
No, no,
just
no.
the
You
bus?
bring your own stuff. It's just renting
bring your own
the
stuff,
transportation
okay.
and the driver, of course.
There? What's provided there? I mean, what
The
sort of
facilities. There's a
yeah.
sound system. There's karaoke.
Do they have the bar?
How many people
They have a
fit
bar,
into
but
the-
you got to bring your own drinks.
and-
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
You
and
just
bring your own girlfriends as well.
You bring your own entertainment.
Oh, you think they'll be bringing girlfriends?
Or male dancers in your case, Jenny.
I'll bring
No,
my
I
own
mean,
dancers.
practically it helps.
No, it's a trend now. All the ladies, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I need something to
Yeah, and you'll
ease
be-
my pain. As
You know what?
said.
You'll be like
Coming from the
partying
newlywed.
inside, but then suddenly
No,
there's
I mean,
a knock
I'm
on the window and said,
Honey.
buskers, no, not even buskers, street kids, and it's
I wouldn't
like,
let them
oh
on.
my goodness.
Okay, but no, in its own way, it helps ease traffic because owner Desi Wong Will says it is called the Royal VIP Service Bus. It takes at least 10 cars off the road because they're in the bus. They don't have to drive.
But they're not gonna be driving somewhere as a mass transportation. That's a party bus.
But I'm saying they don't have to take the car to go to a bus. I mean, to go to a
The
bar.
cars to go to
To someplace
or
because what you
whatever.
can do
You take the
besides
bar to the
partying in the bus,
market,
you do like what they call a pub crawl. You get like 4 stops. And you party, go to this place, get off, have a drink or listen to
Right,
get on,
right.
go to the next place.
Right.
It's fun. It's a group thing.
Yeah, but you know, most of them are
What are
gonna
the
just stay
destinations?
on the
What are the
bus.
clubs? So the clubs are predestined, or
No, you make your own thing. You make your own
Okay.
agenda. You rent it, and it's like your thing for the
Yeah,
night.
exactly. So they'll
That's
just be
quite
like,
fun.
oh, they're just gonna stay on the bus all
And why
night.
not?
On
Because you're stuck in
bachelor
traffic
nights
anyway.
and- prom nights is gonna be crazy
police-free
now.
guaranteed? like you're not going to be
Police
busted by
free.
the police,
Well,
or
why would they
if you're,
stop you?
know.
It's legal. I mean, they have a
Okay,
license.
as long as you don't bring illicit and illegal stuff.
Yenny,
like drugs
what?
and stuff.
This
No,
is
I'm
pure
just,
family
I'm
entertainment.
just trying to. Oh,
No,
family
seriously.
entertainment.
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
just trying to
family
clear it
entertainment,
out
really.
for the
Family
viewers,
karaoke.
But they do have pole dancing. They have
pole
two.
dancing.
Yeah,
They're
they have
Exactly.
that,
I mean,
yeah.
seriously, yeah.
very
I want to
healthy.
bring my
For the
kids
father's
for like
eyes.
fifth
Very
fifth
healthy.
birthday with they're gonna be like, mommy, what's that? You know?
Mommy, why are you dressed like that? Okay.
Yeah,
See,
You're
now
gonna-
you're imagining things that aren't there. They just provide the stuff and you do it.
Exactly, because they know what's going to be happening.
I have
and
no idea
who's
what you're
gonna be
talking about.
hiring,
I'm thinking
who's
like-
going to be renting the buses.
I was going to sing some like school songs and things like that.
Right, Dalton.
can
Oh, I
have
want to
a
pay that.
nationalist
Let's
party.
I'm
go
waiting
on.
for Yenny's birthday. I want to ride on the party bus. Okay, it is feedback time.
Bring
Please
your own street party.
bring my own. I didn't hear you say that.
I thought you were going to say, be the stripper.
Oh, you could be the stripper if you want to.
Please let us know what you think of
How
this.
much are you going to be charging?
This craziness. Juno posted this on our Facebook page. Love the show very much. Maybe not this one. Usually people who write us are complaining, so it's nice to get some love. If you have any feedback on what you've heard or would like to suggest a topic for us to tackle, please email us at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I gotta sign up for Instagram pages. Final words, Yenny.
Well, I went to a function last night, which was attended by President Jokowi, and he came with just so little fanfare. I mean, he came with only 4 cars and very small entourage. And it's very refreshing, and it's such a. And for me, it's a start of a new era, and I just want to say how much I am. I feel honored to be part of this new era in Indonesia, and I think it's a good start for our future.
All right, Yenny had more cars. She had 6.
7.
Final words.
Well, what?
Sarah.
Okay, what? Whew. Okay, I'm focused on my final words. First of all, of course, despite everything that's happening, politically, I think it's a milestone in this day and age to have a minority become governor in a Muslim majority city. That's number one. And so I think it's good for us to show that there's diversity, unity and diversity happening here, and hopefully that will be supporting each other. And number two, we are finally opening again for anyone in Jakarta, based in Jakarta, who are interested to actually be a part of the fight against human trafficking. Please send your CV and your cover letter of why you would like to join and what you could do to actually contribute to the fight against human trafficking to info@parinama-asta.org. BARINAMA.org. That's BARINAMA-ASTHA.org.
And that's on the screen below you. Okay.
Yes.
And my final words. I participated in an international seminar at the University of Gadjah Mada in Yogyakarta this past week, third year now. And I always come back impressed with the students I meet there. That the event was in English was challenging enough, but understanding the global topics presented takes even more focus. So to the bright kids at Gadjah Mada, you're going to make a big difference in this country.
Amen.
And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sarah and Yenny, I'm Dalton Tanonaka. Maybe we'll do the show on a party bus one time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun? See you next time.